you are paying attention is going to bring to you. But if it's happened earlier, it stays in our body, and breath work helps you to remove it somatically.
Embodied New Sphere of Success podcast, which is, as you know, the podcast that looks at challenge and adversity in life, how we as business owners and entrepreneurs overcome that and create the most amazing things out of it. Could be resilience, could be creation, innovation, a new reinvention of ourselves. That's also absolutely fine as well. And today I have got the most brilliant guest. This lady is transformational herself. What this lady hasn't done is nobody's business. Today I have with me Elif Köse, and she is an architect and embodiment of the word confidence when it comes to women's empowerment. As a transformational confidence coach, speaker, and founder of Confidence Magazine, she leads a global movement helping women rise into their authentic power and purpose. Through her coaching retreats and editorial platform, Elif blends science, soul, and storytelling to awaken the leader within every woman. Join her as she amplifies voices, shares transformational tools, and redefines what it truly means to live confidently. Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be fantastic. Elif, welcome to the Sphere of Success podcast.
Thank you, Debra. It's a great honor to be here. Thanks for
Ah,
having me.
well, I have to say, we've just a little bit before we came on air, I've just talked about Elif's wonderful earrings. So give them a look right now because they're not the same and they're just absolutely amazing. So,
Thank
very
you.
creative lady. You take that creation and you make it work with people as well. And I would love to hear a little bit about your backstory so that people can understand what brought you into the world of confidence.
I have been in fashion industry for many, many years, almost 2 decades, and I started as an alteration girl and altering people's clothes. I suppose I have been in the business of transformation all my life. I've just changed it into confidence from inside out. You know, when you're in fashion, just like you mentioned, my earrings, my clothes, our hair, our makeup, and the set glasses that we choose, it always adds an extra layer of confidence to our look. But when we take it all off, when there's nobody, who do we become and how we feel within our own company is very important. So often people spend far too much time to perfect their externals. They forget to go in. That's why a lot of the women I speak to and work with would often tell me, everything is great. You know, I tick all the boxes that I've got everything I worked for, but when I wake up in the morning, I feel empty and I just feel like I'm winging it because we are living our lives often, not always, um, to please our families, our social circles, our business world. It's just becomes somebody else's life, not no longer yours. And till you realize that, it can be, it could be later in life. It could be in your late 40s, late 50s, late 60s even. And you might feel, okay, everything seems to be okay, but why am I feeling empty? So that's where the confidence comes in. You know, I've worked in fashion. I had fashion house, I dressed women to feel good and be confident, and it works 100%. It's one piece of the puzzle. But when you have that inner confidence, when you feel fully confident in your being, in your life choices, in your what you bring onto the table, and you are okay to speak up your truth and share your story, which is a great platform what you created with your podcast, bringing people to share their stories, because so often you would hear all those successful people's stories that they are actually sharing. They would always say, they sorry, my phone is going off at the background. I hope you don't hear it. Um, they they would say, I read a story about somebody in a magazine and I decided to do this. Or they would say, I've read this book, it's changed my life. It's very important.
I completely get it. And don't worry, Elif, we couldn't hear a thing. Well, unless somebody is, got really great hearing, I couldn't help hear anything with your phone. So that's
Great.
absolutely fine. It's not a problem. And you know what? Just like we've just had now, the great thing is that didn't throw you off track. You just speaking from your zone of genius, you're coming across as confident, etc. And that's great because often things in life can take us off course and we can lose confidence. And then
Mm.
we don't realize we've lost it until we try and do something again and think, oh, it's not as I thought. I'm a bit more timid than I
Because
thought I would
people are
be.
performing, because women seem to be performing to look perfect, like as if like a phone ringing at the background defines me, or the stories that I had lived, my real lived experiences don't define my future or my being. So we are always trying to act to look strong, to hold it together and then keep the peace. But whose peace are you keeping? Yours?
Yes, Elif, I completely agree. Holding it together. And sometimes that can be more than just ourselves. We're trying to hold families together. Trying to bring communities and hold them together. We're trying to have all these different areas of ecosystems outside of ourselves that we feel we've got to hold together. And I think that could be a bit of a feminine energy thing because with men and women, we've both got male and female energy in it, haven't we? But
Mm.
you've mentioned in your biography the science that you blend confidence with science and soul and storytelling. Somebody with a slight lisp, actually, that's quite difficult to say because it's all the S's. But how how have you actually thought about the science of confidence? Because that might help people to demystify some of this stuff that is just like, I just don't really get it.
Okay, so I use breath work as one of the main modalities to help my clients to really understand themselves, because breath is something that you're born with. The moment you arrive to this world, that's the first thing you receive is a breath of air. And then the last thing that you let go is a breath of air when you go at the last day of your day. So when you think about it, breath is the most important uh, entity, I don't know if I could call that, in your life. So, and breath work is scientifically proven to help people to calm their nervous system. I don't know if you've ever been to any breath work sessions. Have you? Have you ever done full
I
breath work?
haven't. I haven't done any particularly formal sessions, but at my worst, when I was at the peak of my anxiety era, which lasted the best part of most of my life, to be honest, I used to have a little bit of a hack, whereas I used to try and inhale but exhale for a few more seconds than I'd inhaled for. And that tended to calm me down a bit because it made me think about my breath. And the actual act of thinking about my breath took my thoughts off perhaps what I was getting anxious about. But formal training, no, I found that out by trial and accident.
Well, if you think about your, any like day-to-day life, if somebody is overly stressed or they've received a really bad news, what we usually say is take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath, don't we? We say because,
Yeah.
and then you just breathe it out. And so often, almost 80% of the public have shallow breathing. I'm not sure if the statistic is correct for as of today, but we are shallow breathers and we breathe from our mouth. We shouldn't. The breathing should be in through your nose and out through your mouth, or again out through your nose, but it should always be in through your nose because your nose, it filters the air and also moisturize it.
Ah, okay.
So
Okay.
it's so when you are, if you think about when you go out for a walk in the winter months, if you're breathing through your mouth and you've gone out for an hour walk, you will start having chest infection the following day because the cold air will go straight into your chest. And
Oh,
that's why
right.
people hold their hands in their mouth to warm the air. But if you breathe through your nose, the hair inside of your nose, we are such incredible creatures. Our body has its own healer and medicine inside of it. It knows how to go and tap into the right nutrition within the body as long as you feed it with the right nutritions, because you can eat food, but you cannot feed yourself. There is a difference. You can just eat food and fill your tummy with just bread and pasta. But if you feed your body with right nutrition, balanced diet, and on top of that, you breathe correctly and breathe deeply. I mean, watch a baby breathing. How
Mm.
deeply they breathe. The tummy goes back up, goes down, back up, and goes down. That's how we need to breathe. Of course, we're always rushing through the day. There's so many things that we have to do. We think because busy has become a lifestyle. If you're not doing, you feel you're behind. But a lot of the time, so many people are missing to be. The being is missing out of our own lives because we
I
are
do
so
under
much doing.
Yeah, I think what you're saying here is something I really resonate with. I've got a little dog. I haven't got a baby, but I've got a little dog. And when
Yeah.
she's asleep, apart from
And the
making,
dog's the same.
yeah, her little belly goes out. But you know what? There's a thing for women to always hold your stomach in and not let
Mm.
what that natural little roundness show. And I know that I was, as growing up as a kid and you're self-conscious about how you look, is keeping
Mm.
that belly really tight all the
Yeah,
time so that when you're breathing in, you're still holding your tummy
yeah,
in.
yeah. I
And
mean, coming from fashion background, I remember women would come in. As I said earlier, I started as an alteration girl, and I used to have women coming in to get their clothes altered, and they would stay in front of the mirror and breathe in and just try to stand still and like really perfect and let me pin everything, take the trousers in or shorten it in that position and that posture. Whereas man would blow their bellies out and just say, like, I eat a lot during dinner, so now pin it. Like they would really blow it out, completely opposite. It's because they accept themselves physically far greater, far quicker than women, because we have been sold through the media, printed or visual or social media, the woman has to look in a certain way. We have to look younger. We have to look fitter. I mean, woman has to be sexy, fit, hardworking. If you choose to have a mother, you have to be a great mother. How? How the heck we're going to do that?
yeah, you're right. And then if one of the plates fall from the spinning thing that you've got them all on, then we feel really guilty and we think we failed. But we
Yeah,
don't just take that as life. We take it like I'm a failure at everything because I let one
yeah,
thing out of 10 things that I'm trying to control here have a bit of a wobble.
yeah.
And boy, oh boy, are people quick. And often women against women, which I can't understand, but it
Well,
seems to be
that's
this
why we
weird
need to
thing.
change it. That's why
Yeah.
we need to speak about it more and really need to accept it's okay to fail. And it's not
Yes.
failure, actually, it's a trial.
It's a
I see
learning
someone
process.
trying.
Yeah.
I'd rather fail, which I have many times. I don't know who hasn't. I
Yeah.
mean, I've never met anybody who hasn't been through adversity, been through an obstacle, who hasn't had any type of trauma from their childhood. It may look different, yours to mine, but you will never know how much what's happened to you during the early ages has affected you emotionally, because all those experiences, all those traumas that we have been through stays in our body as an emotion,
Mm.
because we don't often remember exactly what happened, although some people remember, especially if it's later in their life. But if it's happened earlier, it stays in our body, and breath work helps you to remove it somatically. Because there's no point talking about the stories, because what happens is the more you speak about something, the more the story comes alive in your mind and you relive the same story and same pain. So during my coaching sessions, during my retreats, that's what we work on. That
Mm.
I don't want to know unless the person feels they need to share in order me to help them more, but I don't need to know any details. All I would say, make a different choice. Let's change the story. Let's change it, because we can make a different choice today. What happened to us back in the day is not something we choose, right? We didn't have right to say no. Maybe we were too weak. Maybe we were too naive. Maybe we were too young. We didn't know how to protect ourselves. But we eventually get to an age now that I can make a choice today.
Mm.
Because what you are not choosing, you are living. So you've got to make a choice today. How do you want your life to be today? Yes, what happened to you back then had hurt totally. And it may come back in your stories, but what if we can put something else instead in that file? Because everything comes back to us through our senses. Again, science kicks in here, like all your senses, your smell, your touch, your like what you see, what you feel, like what you hear. A song can take you years back. A smell can take you back to your childhood. You
Yeah.
can just close your eyes and smell that same cake, and you can be in your grandmother's front garden. It
Yeah.
could, do you know, it's so important. So, what we do is we use all of those to make a different choice for you, but you can only help somebody first if they want that change, because you can't force somebody. You know, there is a saying in English that you can take the horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Mm.
That you can teach somebody everything, but if they're not ready to commit every day, consciously make a decision every day, to make a different choice every day, guess what? At the end of 21 days, your life will change because you're making a different choice.
Wow, powerful stuff, Elif. But you know what? Not impossible. In fact, it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy
It
because
needs
some of these,
commitment.
yeah, and some of these changes, I always think, in fact, I've never had a problem putting on weight. Sorry, I've never had a problem with taking off weight. My problem has been putting on weight because it's a bit of a control thing for me.
Mhm.
So I always have to make sure that I choose to eat nourishing food as much as I can afford within the organic realm or whatever to nourish myself every day, because otherwise I know my propensity would
Mhm.
be to skip meals, to live off, say, cereals, etc., because
Mhm.
it's easy and it's quick, because I'm not necessarily somebody that really gets excited about food. And that goes way back. But I look now and I'm so thankful, the gratitude element of it. And you might want to go into this a bit more because I just say what I do. And I'd love you to think about how gratitude actually helps with those choices.
Yeah.
Is I'm grateful for the beautiful things that I can eat and that I'm deserving of eating them. And the preparation time, I do it with love because I'm putting that love back into my body so that it
Mhm.
feeds it with nourishing love. Some people, "Oh, what do you mean with love?" I think there's an energy that I can put into it that then I appreciate what I'm eating and I extract more nourishment out of it because of it. It's just a thing that I've got into, but it just means that I look forward to meal times now. Whereas before I would be like, oh, well, I forgot to eat or I couldn't be bothered or whatever. Now
Yeah.
I plan to think, oh, what am I going to have for my dinner tonight?
Mhm.
Oh, that sounds, so I'm looking at it a different way, but it never was that way. So how can I've just touched upon this, the gratitude, is that just something that I do, or do you find that that
No,
helps people as well?
gratitude plays a huge part in your decision making because what you are doing when you are grateful is you are looking what is in abundance, what is there rather than what is lacking because there's always something is going to lack if you are going to focus on that. So gratitude brings in your awareness to joy and to happiness and to peace. You know, if you constantly talk about what's lacking in your life, guess what's going to happen? Your mind will try to help you find more things that is lacking there.
Mhm.
But when you decide to focus on what you are grateful of, because if you're not grateful for what you have already, it will keep missing. But this is not some to find people out or point the fingers at anybody. All these are information that we have learned when we were growing up. So I'm not saying this is in your case, but previously, having worked with lots of like hundreds of clients in the past, helping them identify their limiting beliefs, their beliefs, because our beliefs create our reality. It makes our choices and thinking process and everything that you have in your mind helps you see the life differently. And your perspective is always based on your upbringing, your culture, your religion, your surroundings, like how you live your life right now, what job you do. Like, if, for instance, when I was a little girl, I loved fashion. And when we are watching TV, I would always notice what people are wearing, the different cut. I would notice the different darts in different corners, and I'd talk about it. And my dad would always point his attention to the woodwork on the screen because he was a carpenter because his attention was there. It didn't mean none of it existed on that screen, but what we were looking, we were seeing. So he
Mm,
was looking for woodwork, new ideas for his business, a different door. Wow, did you see that frame? Their skirting was board. I didn't even notice the skirting boards
mm.
because his attention was there. So what you are paying attention is going to bring to you. If you buy a red car today, you're going to notice all the red cars parked on your street. If you buy a burgundy pair of boots today, you're going to see every woman wearing burgundy boots because you've got them. So, what do you want? If you make a very clear decision in your head, your mind will find new ways to see that. I promise you will see it because it's going to come through your words that you choose. You're going to notice, you're going to see it on your social media because your awareness is there. You're going to get to see the posts about it. You're going to hear someone talking about it on the bus or on the train because your awareness is open. Your neural pathways is open to find that because you want it so much. It's the gratitude of wanting and being aware of what you have and being grateful. And then you could still want more, but that opens a new way of bringing it into your life. I hope it's making sense.
Well, it is to me an abundance, and to anybody there, again, I mean, you are the person to speak to because you've got this nailed, and you're a living example of this. It's not like you just practice it, you're preaching it, and you don't practice it. You're doing this every
Yeah.
day. You've built brands from scratch. Your
Yeah.
confidence is such that it's not toxic confidence because people might think, oh, a confidence coach, well, they're going to make me into some kind of
No,
shouty, aggressive,
confidence doesn't mean,
dominating.
no, confidence doesn't mean that you have the loudest voice in the room. It's actually quite knowing that you belong and your voice matters and your desires are okay. You exist and you can want more. Confidence doesn't mean I know it all and listen to me. It's not
The brash
boasting.
kind of, oh,
No.
here I am, because I would hate that. I mean, I just dissolve. It's just not me at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. No, confidence means that it means different to everybody anyway. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way. I mean, confidence to you perhaps could be 5 years ago. I'm not quite sure when you started this podcast, but
Well, it was a
having
couple
to,
of years ago, actually. But the interesting thing is, and just to, I'm an open book because I believe in sharing my story, not
yes,
for people to
please
say, oh, poor me,
write it.
but the fact that, if it can help somebody, I just want to give people thoughts and
It does.
voices. And so I had the cloak of invisibility throughout most of my adult life until the big breakthrough, which if you're a regular listener, you'll know about. And that came because that was self-protection as a child from abusive parents. And there wasn't anything I could do about that. I was just born into it. So there you go, and I got through it, which is brilliant. And now I can pat myself on the back because I did that. But I had a lot of issues. I mean, a lot of issues. It meant that I couldn't keep personal relationships. It was very difficult to have authority figures at work, all of these things. And I didn't feel that my voice mattered. In fact, I didn't have a voice. I didn't even know what it was.
But having that first recording of your podcast must have been
Yes,
like, if I only had the confidence to just record this. And look at you
absolutely.
now, 2 years in, you're interviewing incredible in
Well,
like
people like
leaders.
yourself who are leading at what they
Yeah.
do. Now, if you'd have asked me, I would have always wanted to support somebody else to do this. So, if there'd been somebody else that would have wanted to do it, I'd be the person on the admin side or the support
Yeah,
side or the marketing side, but I wouldn't be there myself.
exactly.
And I've realized, and this isn't arrogance or anything, but I have the right, like everybody else, to be on a stage and speak what I believe can help
Absolutely.
people. And everybody has that right. If you've got a message, people don't need to necessarily agree with it. Okay, we need that diversity of opinions so that, wouldn't it be
Yeah.
awful if we all thought the same? I mean, it'd just be dreadful. So I now take my rightful place on this platform in the service of others, actually. That's what's adopted for me is I have every right to be here. In fact, we're all
Exactly.
miracles. To get be a human is an amazing feat in itself.
Absolutely.
And when we're here standing in your truth like you are and you're helping people, we have every right, especially as women. I've got nothing against men, don't get me wrong. I love everybody, it's not a problem. But for women who perhaps have got confused or because of the way in which they've been led to over generations of thought processes, oh no, I can't, it's not for me. And
I mean,
oh, I'm
women were
shrinking.
taught. Yeah, women were taught a language of people pleasing, and we became fluent in it so quickly that we forgot how to own our space. But it's coming back. It's all coming back, but we need each other. Like women like yourself who's creating this space, you never know who's going to listen to your one episode may change someone's life drastically in the
Yeah.
best possible way. So it's beautiful. So we have to really keep doing what we are doing and with love.
Oh, absolutely. And that the
Mm.
love, and people might think that that's sort of fluffy bunny rabbits and rainbows and a bit la la, but actually, love is a very powerful tool to use because there's
Thank
got
you.
some boundaries. I'd love you just because gosh, I could talk to you forever, and I'm sure our audience could listen to you forever as well.
Thank you.
Where do you help with confidence in setting boundaries?
So you have to see, first of all, how, like, why do you do that? What is the fear behind letting somebody step over your space? Because there is usually a fear, the fear of not being accepted, fear of not loved, fear of not um, seen, and because we're conditioned that way. So you've got to understand what is the reason behind that you are allowing that person to speak to you that way, and what will happen if you stop it. So boundaries are quite fine line because when you are not really stopping somebody the moment they step over it, what you are doing is you're allowing them to come one more step closer and then closer. So, and that usually happens, let's say you are having a great conversation with somebody that you might know for a long time or you may have just met, and then they may make a joke that you don't agree with it or you don't like being spoken to that way. And you don't stop them because the conversation flows and you don't want to uh, spoil the energy, and then you allow them to continue. So what's happening? That person is recording that it's okay to talk to her that way. So the next conversation comes, they will always go beyond that. And then again, and then you will have a big blowout and the relationship will come to an end and you'll start counting, you did this to me, you did this to me. And then that person can turn around and say, but you never said anything.
Mm.
So you've got to say it right at the beginning. Because if you are putting masks on to be accepted, then you have got lots of fake people around you because you are also fake to keep them in your life.
That's really good. You're fake for keeping the people in. Yes, gosh, have I been guilty of that in the past? Oh my goodness
Aren't we all?
me.
I did that. Probably do it still at some relationships. It's because they're my family or my in-laws. I'm trying to keep the peace of the family in my house. But you have to really think of like, what am I giving out here? So if it is going to take 80% of you, then it's no good. It's no good. I have got a whole 7-day confidence activation series that really goes through. It really starts with awareness. You have to really pause and be aware of what is and what isn't working in your life, and just go from there step by step.
Well, I think, when I look back, there were so many things wrong with my life that it was like, oh my gosh. But the interesting thing is, when I had the nervous breakthrough, and I don't know, I'm only speaking for myself, but I'm sure I'm not the only one because my
No.
therapist said I was a classic case, which was actually really nice to hear because it meant that I was nothing special. Everybody that was kind of
Yeah.
going through stuff kind of did it the same as me that she was talking about. And she said, "You're okay. You're okay. Yes, it could be better. Can't we all? But you're
Yeah.
a miracle." And I'm like, what? And then when I started to realize so much functions without my even knowledge in my bodies, like you were saying, how it gains nourishment from that. We don't know the process. The fact that we go to sleep and that our bodies are repairing without our knowledge, that whole thing kind of just like, wow, that's amazing. Once I started to really think about it. And the fact was that day by day, it just got better and better and better. And then I thought, well, actually, I'm worthwhile. I am deserving of happiness. I am deserving of this. I can take my place at the table. I do have something to say to people. I have got a message that I can give. I can help others without destroying myself in the process. And once that chain reaction started to happen, it was quite a really rapid pace of this transformation. But the great thing is it was lasting because I didn't go back to the old ways. Because once I'd seen how good the new ways could be, there was no way I wanted to go back. And I changed to the point where I couldn't go back anyway because it just wasn't me anymore. I'd shed
Mm.
that skin, if you like. So I couldn't put it back on again, which is great because, like snakes and various other creatures, they shed their skins, don't they, so that they can
They
expand.
do. I mean, think about the gardens, we keep the like weeding out what's not serving. But I think I used to always say like communication is the key for any relationship, communicating to yourself
Mm,
and communicating to other people. But now I know it isn't. You're going to ask me like,
Well,
why?
I was having a pregnant pause there, waiting for you
Yeah,
to go. "Hmm?"
because comprehension is the key. Because you can speak your truth clearly, beautifully, bravely to somebody or a partner, but if that person isn't ready to hear what you are saying or doesn't have the filters to understand, they will misunderstand you.
Oh, the comprehension.
Yeah,
You see, you are good at this, Elif, aren't you? You're really good at this. The
thank
comprehension. I'd never heard it put that way of what is being said. There's
yeah.
another thing I look at, like the perception, the perceiving of something.
Yeah, and that changes down
Yes.
to where they're brought up. I mean, I always give this example of I come from Turkey. In my culture, wherever you go for a visit, even if it's for popping over for a cup of tea, you always take something with you. And
Ah,
especially if you're going to a dinner. I don't remember who, like, I don't remember my friend, but I don't remember exactly which country they were from. When I lived in America, we went to their house for a dinner party, and I took a dish with me, and they took it really offensive because I was going for dinner and I took food
oh,
with me. It was offensive because as if they can't cook and feed me. But in my culture, I was doing the right thing, but I did the wrong for their perspective.
oh, interesting.
Do you see,
Mm.
like, I see this in families, workplaces, friendships. You could even see this, which you've mentioned earlier, like amongst the women, you would hear like they devoted themselves to women empowerment and lifting each other up, yet they'll turn around and bitch about the other woman in the room.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because we think we're listening, but what we are actually doing usually is we're preparing to um, reply. Do you see like that? That's the
Mm.
problem happening in the communication world. We think we are connecting, but what we are doing is usually we're comparing because we really need to understand each other. A lot of the times I see in lots of relationships, like even like you could say, I told her that explained to her why I couldn't make it, but she couldn't comprehend it. She didn't hear what you said because in her head, you had to be there, but you're explaining it why you couldn't be there. So communication doesn't mean anything.
It's
So you have to make sure that
comprehension.
you're understood. The person is on the other end is actually seeing your perspective.
Oh, this so makes so much sense. And now it's resonated with me on another level where people go, step into somebody's shoes, see
You
their map
can't.
of the world. It's not necessarily that they're wrong, it's just the way in which they see life. That is how they see it. And so
Yeah,
they go along that path, and your world is different. So you see it in a different way.
yeah,
And then when you can get your perceptions aligned, you can understand where somebody's coming from.
yeah.
Now, sometimes you might not necessarily agree with it, but at least you can
Yes,
understand it.
exactly, exactly. I mean, we are beginning to see the empowerment as not a performance. We are learning now. We are hearing people differently, but we just need to learn to listen and understand, not just wait for our turn to respond.
Oh, and we all know people like that, don't we? And I've been there myself. Oh my goodness me. I mean, I'm like good news. I was the worst
Yeah, I've
possible.
done it. I often didn't
Oh,
even listen to the question they were asking because I wanted to tell something else. Do you know?
oh, absolutely. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Wow. And this is, this is lifelong. And that's the beauty of somebody like yourself, Elif, is that you can coach people and it's not just a one-off or something. You can coach people over time. So as you say, you can look back and hindsight's an amazing thing to see
Yeah.
where you started and
Thank
then
you.
as it continues where you're going and where you are now. And
Yeah.
often we don't give ourselves the credit of looking back in earnest and going,
Mm.
wow, I've come a long way from what I was. And it's not
Exactly.
about
We all
everybody else.
have.
It's not a
Yeah,
race. It's not a
exactly.
comparison. It's us, isn't it?
It's your journey. It's your journey. And you can, your truth is for you. It's not perfect, it's not polished, but it's present, you
And it's
know,
your present to
and
the
it's
world. It's your
your, yeah,
present, your gift to you. The present, I
yeah.
think of it as a gift. It's the present that you open and go, ooh, that's the present, because it is a gift, isn't it? It is just amazing.
Just, if I would leave your listeners with, oh, I would love to leave them with so many things, but just be aware of your thoughts. Really be here. Be here with your thoughts. Be present. You know how often we listen to our friends' problems that they share over and over and over again, and they're not listening any of the solutions that you're offering because they are reliving in there because they're not here.
Mm.
They're still there or in the future, but never here. So I would recommend you to be here. Be aware of your thoughts. Where are you with it? Are you really choosing them or are you just drifting into it because your mind is just too busy to think consciously? So be conscious of your being and like choices and decisions that you make every single day. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your life doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have that real perfect polished lives that people are sharing, which I think is complete bullshit. It's not real. Don't believe it. It's not real. I mean,
If
I
it's
this
not real
morning
for
I
me,
had
it's
a
not real for anybody else. No.
exactly. I had a breakdown this morning. I was like literally crying because my son wouldn't want to do any of his homeworks. And every day, every single day, he's year three, 7-year old, and he resists to do his homework. Every day, there is a dilemma in the house. And I can't take it. And I'm in the business. And I cried to release my emotion. And
Mm.
it's okay.
It's all
Life is
okay.
not perfect. So just be present. That's the only thing I would say. Just be present. And yes, communicate what you want and what you need, but make sure the perspective of you is the same as the other one who's listening. Otherwise, your truth will never land. It will just be in the air. And you think you told them and you will think you're misunderstood because they didn't understand you.
Elif, wise words, and I know there is so much more wisdom that you can give to people. So, how can people get hold of you?
So you can get hold of me through my website, www.elifkose.com. And you can also find me on Instagram. I'm really active there. I usually share my crazy stories daily, what happened to me. Like this morning, I went to a business expo day before.
Oh,
It's tomorrow, and I was there one day before. Then I
yeah.
checked my diary. I logged it wrong in my written diary because I still have a cat like a proper diary that I carry around because I'm an old-fashioned woman.
I think, well, I've done that. I thought,
Yeah,
I can get
but
a
do
car
you know what
parking
I mean?
space. There was a
And you know,
reason. And
yeah,
there
but the
wasn't
thing
there.
is, and here is the last thing. Nothing happened to us. It happens for us. So instead of that, you know what did that do? Me driving to the venue has given me time to actually sit and do nothing and just drive for 15 minutes because I would be doing still.
Yeah,
So it happened for me. So I thought, okay, great. And because I was there already, I just went and got another thing done I would have done next week. So just know that nothing happens to you, it happens for you.
wow. Wise words, as I said. And I
Thank you.
know that people are going to really want to get in touch. Elif, I would say, thank you so much for these incredible insights into confidence. We've touched so much within our discussion. It's been an absolute privilege and
Yeah,
a
we were a
pleasure.
bit all over the place, but I'm sure everybody got something out of it.
Oh, I think they did. And you know what? It's the confidence to know that you can meander. You don't always have to keep on point, on script, or what have you, because
Yeah.
sometimes the beauty is the organicness of how it
Yeah.
moves along. So thank you so
Yeah,
much for
I
being so
always have
eloquent.
retreats where we really hone into to our mind, our body, and our spirit, and understand ourselves and go through layer by layer because we are layered beings. So, if anyone wants to come and join me, um, I will like to share the link with you so you can share it with your audience. Would be
Oh, that would be brilliant. Yes, indeed. And we'll put that on to the show notes as well. So thank you,
Thank
Elif.
you.
Brilliant. And for everybody watching and listening, wow, what an episode. I'm on a high. I think it's great. And thank you so much as well for liking and subscribing to the channel, comment and share. Do share because this is something which I think men and women, I know that we've talked a lot about women, but men and women can do so much with this work that Elif so wonderfully does for people. So until next time, be successful and we'll see you all again soon. Bye bye now.